I dressed as the sister of the Little Mermaid in a fairy tale point one day. I had the ability to read minds. I heard my sister's heart. I can't have a love brain. How can a man have a career fragrance? When I leap over the dragon gate and turn into a dragon, everything is a floating cloud. The few question marks slowly appeared on my head. Something is wrong with this development. Point 1. On the third day of mind reading, I found that my sister was not at all different from what was described in the story. She didn't like to play on the sea surface, as if she hated the top, and she was running all over the sea all day looking for the dragon gate. He also took the time to report the witch living in the abyss under the sea, on the grounds that he was illegally selling poisonous potions. As a result, the witch was caught and the potion full of potions was confiscated. I was curiously looking at the bottles and cans that were shining with colorful lights, wondering which bottle was the magic potion that could turn fishtails into legs. Do you like it? The mermaid's sister handed me a bottle of pink potion. Take it and play with it, beauty and beauty. Before I could come to my senses, I was pushed out by my sister, and she told me while locking the door, "Don't touch the potion inside. You can only play with the bottle I gave you. Do you hear?" Before I could nod, I heard her heart. I will come and burn these harmful bullshit potions in the evening. At this moment, I especially want to ask her, "Sister, are you reborn or time travel?" Before I could ask why, the Little Mermaid ran away from home. She left a note that read, "The world is big. I want to see it. Don't read it." And I was sent out by the Queen of the Sea to find my runaway sister. Before leaving, Aquaman's father stuffed me a small golden fork, and I was holding the fork and stuffing it into my shell bag, and my father's voice rang in my ears. I should have told Xiao-san that the mantra of the Poseidon Trident is, right? This person is old and has a really bad memory. My hand with the fork stiffened. Aquaman's father's voice rose again. What did I want to say just now? I packed my bags myself, sent my old father back to his own palace, and embarked on a journey to find my sister alone. Point 3. On the sea, the wind is calm and the sun is warm. I swam across a reef and saw a body floating next to the reef. The corpse was facing up, still panting. In this situation, a few words suddenly floated in my mind. Don't pick up a man on the side of the road, Fu Shenxing at best, Li Chengyin at worst. I shook my tail a little, made up my mind to ignore the idle things, and was about to leave, but the next second, the drifting man slowly opened his eyes. He looked at me, his eyes stayed on my face for a few seconds, and he suddenly spoke. "Thank you for saving my life. My name is Mo Yang, and I will repay the girl." I stared at him, and as time passed, I was surprised to find I can't hear his heart. "Can you please take me to the shore? I am injured and my spiritual power cannot work." Spirit. Force. Where does the spiritual power come from in the fairy tale world? It should be magic. Things seem to be starting to get worse. I dragged Mo Yang and took him to the nearest beach. Then he planned to run away. "Girl, wait." I stared at him vigilantly. "What are you doing?" Mo Yang smiled lightly. His white robe and black hair were as handsome as cast, like an immortal in the story. "The direction the girl went to is not safe. The sea over there is the territory of a monster beast in the tribulation period. The time of the catastrophe. Monster, is the world crazy? Or am I crazy? Who will tell me why there are monsters in the tribulation period in an ordinary fairy tale world?" Seeing that I was dumbfounded, Mo Yang suggested very kindly, "Why don't you come with me? I still have some skills, and I can protect the girl thoroughly." I decided to follow Mo Yang to find out the situation. If the situation is not right, I will run away immediately, for I followed Mo Yang ashore, and since I couldn't walk without legs, he thoughtfully got me a wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair, he pushed me, and our combination was very strange, and I almost looked like a monkey when I walked on the road, and I also inferred some situations from what I saw and heard along the way. This world is not a fairy tale world, but a cultivation world similar to fantasy. There are not only people in the world, but also demons, and animals can also be cultivated into spirits, affection. Only I am the frog at the bottom of the well. 3 days later, Mo Yang took me up a mountain. On the mountain, majestic and gorgeous palaces stand, occupying several peaks. Countless boys and girls dressed in uniform service swords came, stood in rows in front of Mo Yang, bent down respectfully, and shouted, "Welcome the immortal venerable back to the sect." Me, due to the large number of people, the ears that had been quiet for a while chirped one after another. "Hey, immortal venerable brought back a woman. she is so beautiful. It seems that there is a problem with the legs, and she is a disabled beauty. Does Immortal Venerable plan to accept her as a disciple? But Immortal Venerable already had a closed disciple. Is she the heroine in the original text? She is so good-looking, worthy of being the heroine. I looked in the direction of the heroine, who said I was, and instantly met a cold face. Lingyang female disciple's voice. She looked at me. Wu, the heroine is so beautiful. I was stunned. Why did that female disciple say I was the heroine? I still wanted to look at her again and listen to her heart, but Mo Yang blocked my view. I'll take you to where I live. In this way, I was almost pushed away by Mo Yang personally under the spotlight. After walking away, I can still hear a few words. Who is this woman? Can be so favored by Immortal Venerable. Is the senior sister about to fall out of favor? It seems that our Lansang sect is about to have a little junior sister. Me, they are so noisy. 5 After a few days, I barely figured out the situation. The person who called me the heroine halfway up the mountain that day was Mo Yang's apprentice, named Shenxi. Shenxi also lives on Mochi Peak, and her room is next door to me. Mo Kaifeng is Mo Yang's territory. Before I came, he was the only one who lived with Shenxi, and Shenxi was his only apprentice. Now that I'm here, I have become Mo Yang's second apprentice, Shenxi's little junior sister. Shenxi came to me whenever he had time. And I also liked to get along with her, not for anything else, but for her strange voice. A few days later, I pieced together her origin according to Shenxi's heart. She wore a book like me, but unlike the fairy tale book I wore, Shenxi wore a book called Group Pet Little Junior Sister. According to Shenxi, the heroine is me, and Shenxi, to paraphrase herself, she is a vicious female partner. She didn't want to follow the old path of being abolished and kicked out of the sect in the original plot, so she decided to hug my thighs as the heroine. I was wondering how I could tell her my identity as my Little Mermaid sister without being embarrassed and polite. In the end, I gave up on this idea. I was afraid of being treated as a neurotic by her. As a little junior sister who was parachuted, there were many people in the sect who couldn't get used to me, and I could hear mocking voices everywhere I walked on the road. Whenever this happened, Shenxi would rush over and scold those disciples, and if those disciples were still not convinced, she would draw her sword and teach them to behave. So that those disciples will take a detour when they see me from now on. Don't be sad, they are just jealous of you. I was just a little moved, and suddenly I heard a voice from Shenxi. A group of short-sighted fools, can you bully the heroine? Don't sleep too much at night. Otherwise, I don't know how to die. I can still have great powers to kill them in their dreams. Looking down, I saw that Shenxi's hand was worn out. I asked her not to move, took out pearl powder and cloth strips from the small shell bag she carried with her, and helped her bandage her wound. The royal sister, who was still majestic just now, twisted like a new daughter-in-law at this moment, and her face turned into a monkey. But I heard her cry in her heart. The heroine touched my hand a lot. She even bandaged me, I decided. I won't wash this hand for a month. My hand shook and my fingernails almost poked into her wound. 6 During the day, Mo Yang guided me to practice with Shenxi, and Shenxi was nowhere to be seen for a day. This was the case for several days in a row, and Mo Yang frowned to arrest people. Shenxi saw Mo Yang and jumped 3 feet away, as if he was afraid of being stuck by the virus. Master. You just stand there. Don't move. Mo Kai stopped and asked her, why don't you come to practice during the day? It's good for Master to take care of the little junior sister. I've already laid the foundation, and I don't need Master to keep an eye on me all the time. Mo Yang thought about it as if it was the same, so he didn't say anything more. Far away, I can still hear Shenxi shouting angrily in his heart, get away from me. If you get close to me, I will become unhappy. I almost laughed out loud. Mo Yang had already come over. What are you laughing at? I reacted to Mo Yang's gaze with hindsight. According to Shenxi, I am the heroine, isn't Mo Yang the male protagonist? I looked away slightly in a panic and shook my head. Mo Yang leaned closer. Are you afraid of me? I pressed my back against the wheelchair cushion and took a breath. No, why am I afraid of you? Mo Yang straightened his waist. You are my savior, you are different from me, you are not afraid of me. I let out a soft 0.7 as the days passed. I always felt as if I had forgotten something. That's right. I came out this time to find my sister who ran away from home. You are too seriously injured this time, and if you don't get rid of the internal injury, you will have big problems in your cultivation in the future. The leader is worried too much, but it's just a minor injury, not worth worrying about. The sound of conversation came from the room. I wanted to walk away, and didn't want to eavesdrop. But the wheelchair happened to be stuck in the stone. I didn't go in or retreat. I was very embarrassed. The Demon King was injured by you this time, and the traces have not been found for a long time. I am afraid that something will happen. He has a big fate, he can't die. I'm too lazy to tell you, take good care of your injuries. Don't go out to wander if you have nothing to do. The leader walks slowly. At the last moment, the stuck wheels finally moved, and I quickly retreated to my room, pretending that I hadn't come out. After the head left, Mo Yang entered my house. He glanced at me a few times, and his eyes fell to the ground. Just listen, why are you in a hurry? The tail is dirty. I feel a little guilty, and I didn't mean to eavesdrop. It's all a coincidence. Mo Yang took out a handkerchief, picked up the tip of my tail that fell to the ground, wiped it carefully, and wiped off the mud on it one by one. I trembled all over. And my face turned red all of a sudden. This person. He pinched the tip of my tail. Mo Yang. Huh? Did it hurt you? Mo Yang's face was innocent, with a smile in his eyes, and he seriously handed me the tip of the pale blue and transparent tail on his hand. Wipe it clean and return it to you. I snatched it over and glared at him with my tail in my arms. Don't pinch my tail. Mo Yang blinked and nodded slowly. 8 In the past few days, I have found that she is a little abnormal. He was walking around me from morning to night, obviously wanting to say something to me, but he didn't speak. My old god was sitting on the ground, drinking tea slowly, listening to her voice as if she was arguing with herself. It should be these days, in the plot, the little junior sister will meet the injured Demon King, and then save him. Should I tell the little junior sister in advance? No. No. The Demon King is a crazy pervert. The little junior sister is so beautiful and cute, she must not fall into the hands of the Demon King, but the plot is invincible. Even if I don't say it, the little junior sister will meet the injured Demon King, and then save him, and then the Demon King will naturally fall in love with the little junior sister at first sight. And when they meet again, they will tie people up and rob the little junior sister. I almost spat out a sip of tea. Demon King, fall in love with me, forcibly robbed. She didn't know that he had been exposed, and was still brainstorming, or I'll go kill the Demon King in advance. Then everything will be peaceful. Junior sister, I have a soy sauce to beat. Bye. She left excitedly. My outstretched hand didn't hold anyone, it hung in midair, and I wanted to say 10,000 words in my heart. Sisters. Hello tiger. 9 She went for 3 days without a trace. I was worried that she would not be killed by killing the Demon King. So I decided to find someone. Mochi Peak is very large, but the only place where I can hide is the back mountain, and I, a mermaid in a wheelchair with limited mobility, struggled to move my wheelchair on the rugged mountain road. Fortunately, I searched in the jungle for a while and saw she. Unfortunately, the timing of my encounter seemed to be a bit off. I saw that in the forest. With mottled light and shadow, she was pressed on the trunk by a tall young man in red, and the two of them were ambiguous, and they were about to kiss. Who? The man in red suddenly looked up at me, and pulled she behind him with one hand to protect him. I was shocked by the bitter coldness in the man's eyes, and a chill rose down my spine. She poked his head out from behind the man and snorted. Little junior sister. Why are you here? I gritted my teeth and smiled. Not to find you. The man was the Demon King. His eyes turned around me, and the coldness in his eyes disappeared, replaced by a bohemian smile. Yo, isn't this the fish raised by Mo Yang? I curled my lips to show a perfect smile and waved to Shenxi. Senior sister, come here. Shenxi instantly left the demon dynasty and ran over. His Highness the Demon King came uninvited. Do you want to catch up with Master? The Demon King smiled slightly. You fish are not cute at all. After speaking, he was no longer in the forest. Shenxi stared at the place where the Demon King disappeared in a daze. 10 Since then, Shenxi's life has intersected with the Demon King, and when I meditated and practiced at night, there were often some strange movements next door. 81st. I was worried that Shenxi was in danger. So I observed it for a few nights. I don't care about the rest and let them make a fuss. Sometimes I find it too noisy and affect my cultivation, so I move the cultivation site to the pond in the yard. Every time the Demon King left, he swaggered and flew over my head, leaving a sentence. Where is the little fish absorbing the essence of the sun and moon? What a hard worker. Me, this person is really annoying. Mo Yang didn't care. Just let this demon come and go freely in Mochi Peak. Swaggering through the market, in the early morning, I knocked on the door of Mo Yang's palace, but no one responded for a long time. I'm a little confused, isn't it there? At night, the moon was in the sky, and the Demon King came again. This demon, dressed in red, swayed from my eyes to Shen-shi, stopped for a while and asked me, do you really care about the life or death of that ice cube? I wondered and asked him, who is the ice cube? Mo Yang. Tell me clearly, what's wrong with my master? The Demon King shook a folding fan that he had found out of nowhere, holding an inscrutable master's shelf. That ice cube came back from somewhere before, and he was fighting with me. When I met Mo Yang, he was indeed injured, but then he never showed it, like a normal person it turned out. Is he seriously injured? The Demon King snapped the folding fan, looked at me and said, I heard that the blood in the heart of the mermaid clan has a healing effect. I don't know if it's true. I pursed the corners of my lips. Apply externally or internally? What? Blood in the heart, external or internal? The Demon King laughed out loud. Of course, this kind of good thing is directly drunk. The Demon King in red winked at me, turned around and walked straight to the side hall where Shen-shi lived, raised his hand to push open the closed door, and walked in holding the conjured flowers. I wasn't in the mood to look at it anymore. So I lowered my head and pulled out a dagger from the shell bag, wondering from which angle it would be less painful to stab. 11 with half a bowl of blood in my heart. I pushed open the door of the main hall of Mo Yang. The faint moonlight inside sprinkled all over the ground, and Mo Yang lay on the ground silently, not knowing how long he had been lying down. I felt a little guilty. After all, I came to knock on the door in the morning, but I didn't notice anything unusual. I raised my hand and pinched a trick to send Mo Yang to bed, and I moved my wheelchair and slid over. Under the moonlight, Mo Yang closed his eyes, as quiet as a delicate and beautiful porcelain doll. I held his head with one hand, tilted the mouth of the bowl to feed him the blood, during which I couldn't help but bump a little, looking at the blood flowing down Mo Yang's neck. I was a little painful. Waste. After feeding half a bowl of blood, Mo Yang didn't react at all. I wondered if the amount was not enough. I took out a small dagger, raised it and poked it into my heart. Outside the window, the moon slid down to the horizon, and dawn slowly came. The dimly lit hall was filled with a strong smell of blood. With a bang, the bowl in my hand slammed on the floor, and the lying person frowned slightly. His eyelids trembled. I was happy in my heart and shouted, Mo Yang, wake up. If you don't wake up, I'll have it. Blood, loss and death. As soon as Mo Yang opened his eyes, he met the teary-eyed eyes of the Little Mermaid he raised, and he was a little overwhelmed. Someone bullying you? Bad guy. I grunted and darkness fell in front of me. Mo Yang sat up in a panic and supported the Little Mermaid, but was shocked by the scene he saw in front of him. The blood-stained dagger fell on the bed, and a pool of blood fainted around the bowl that fell to the ground. Coupled with the smell of blood in the room, it was not difficult for Mo Yang to guess what was happening. Silly fish, whose nonsense did you hear? 12 When I woke up, Shen-shi was carefully wiping my face with a handkerchief, and her eyes were red. I grabbed her sleeve and shook it gently, and Shen-shi's eyes widened in surprise. Little junior sister, are you awake? Is it still uncomfortable? I shook my head. My body was a little weak, and everything else was fine. Shen-shi felt so guilty that she didn't know what to say, and kept saying sorry, blaming her. It was she who attracted the Demon King. So I listened to the Demon King's bewitchment and suffered this ordeal. He didn't bewitch me either. I wanted to save Master. Shen-shi covered his mouth and looked at me, and I quickly raised my hand to cover my ears. After a while, Shen-shi opened the gate again. You have been in a coma for 3 days, and the Master has beaten the Demon King for 3 days. Little junior sister, you don't know, in the past few days when you have been in a coma, the Master has been guarding you day and night, and everyone is haggard. I nodded and asked her, where is Master? Why don't you see anyone? Beat the Demon King. When will you come back? Shen-shi looked up at the sky outside the window. It's coming soon. I guess Master will be back in more than 10 minutes. I wanted to tell her that people in this world don't talk about minutes, only hours, but she didn't give me a chance to speak, and scolded the Demon King angrily. I was a little confused. So I asked her, "What do you think about the Demon King?" "What can I think of him? He is a crazy pervert." I answered cautiously. "How did you meet him?" "Just that day I went for a walk in the back mountain and picked him up injured." I heard Shinshi's voice say. "I hate that I started a step slowly. I can only pretend to save him." What bad luck. Me, it seems that the Demon King wants to hug the beauty, but he has suffered. I originally wanted to help him mediate the relationship between him and Shinshi, but one night Mojang told me that mermaid's blood does have a healing effect, and it doesn't need heart blood. Ordinary blood is fine. I was so angry that I gave up the idea of being a matchmaker. The Demon King is really annoying. 13. The Demon King himself didn't expect that this wave would be a loss of his wife and a soldier. He looked at the ice cube man who came to fight him all day long, and he was angry. "Mojang, do you have a conscience? I'm helping you." Mojang drew his sword expressionlessly. His indifferent face was like a god or Buddha without desire, but his mouth was, "Fart, draw your sword." The Demon King was furious. "I'm really helping you. Otherwise, how can you be sure of the fish's intentions?" "Mojang, I don't need you to help me test it. I can't wait to hold her in the palm of my hand, but you coax her to get the blood from her heart." The Demon King opened his mouth wide. What could be said from the mouth of the ice cube? "Taken away, hey, Mojang. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Come on." 14. After recuperating for half a month, I took all kinds of natural materials and earthly treasures non-stop, and I was fed a lot of weight. After swimming a few laps in the pond, I suddenly remembered something that I had forgotten in the corner. A runaway sister is still waiting for me somewhere to find. After packing up my baggage, I went to Mojang to say goodbye. At that time, Mojang was refining a wheelchair magic weapon, and when he saw me coming, he happily pulled me to show me. This magic weapon uses a spirit stone as the core, and it is driven by spiritual power, which can control walking, and I also added a flying magic circle. You can sit on it and fly at will. Looking at Mojang, a faint reluctance suddenly surged in my heart. "Mojang, her. I'm leaving." Mojang was silent for a long time, and he didn't know how long it had been before he spoke. "Where are you going?" I shook my head. "I don't know, I'm going to find my sister." Mojang is the immortal venerable of the Lansang sect, and the sect needs him, and I am a mermaid at the bottom of the sea, and this time I came out to find my sister. We are not on different paths. My eyes were a little sour. The corners of my eyes were slightly moist, and a tear slipped from the corner of my eye, quickly condensed into a small pearl. I picked it up and looked at it in a novel way. My sadness was diluted, and I held the pearl. I cried for the first time, and handed it to Mojang, for you parting gift. Mojang took it and held it in the palm of his hand. "When are you leaving?" Tomorrow. 15. I didn't expect that it was the attack of the demons that came one step faster than I left. In the early morning, when the sky was turning over and the morning and night alternated, the demons attacked the Lansang sect. There were demon insiders in the sect, and the demon army outside cooperated with the outside to destroy the mountain protection formation. Mojang only had time to hurriedly throw down a defensive spiritual weapon for me. So he turned around and went to resist the demons. Shinshi held a sword, cut a path in the encirclement of the demon soldiers, and stumbled towards me. "Little junior sister, come with me." At a critical moment, she couldn't stop her inner complaining. This broken plot was really crooked to his stepmother's house. Obviously, the demon clan would break through the seal and attack the immortal cultivation world 3 years later. So why was it so early? I drove Mojang's newly made wheelchair magic weapon, shuttled among many demon soldiers, and with a wave of my hand, the sky was filled with ice and fall, killing many demons. The mermaid race is born to control water, and the royal family is even more so, and they can control water and kill people invisibly. These demons are wearing defensive magic weapons, but they are not easy to deal with. There was a loud rumble, the ground trembled, and the sky was windy. I looked up at the sky and saw Mojang pierced his chest with a sword, and blood gushed out. I was stunned. My chest seemed to be hit by a boulder, and the dense pain enveloped my whole body. "Mojang." I flew over in a wheelchair and caught Mojang's falling body. Ahead, The demon clan holding the sword raised his eyebrows and sneered, "Yo, the heroine is here." My whole chest was filled with anger. "Who are you?" The demon clan was full of arrogance. "It doesn't matter who I am, since you are here, then you can die with him, just make a couple." Ha ha ha, demon heart. As soon as the two protagonists die, no one can threaten me anymore. I felt a sense of sadness rising from the bottom of my heart. Was this article worn out? Shenxi is at least not bad-hearted. He is a person with good roots. But what about this demon? There are many deaths and injuries all around. Can't he see? Dong dong. Suddenly, I heard a noise from my waist.be. My shell bag has been stretched out by something at this time. I took out the little fork that was bouncing inside. The Poseidon trident given by my old father. Can this be used to defeat this demon? Trident was furious. Stupid. Of course. I am a divine being. I clenched my fork tightly, and my heart calmed down a little. Shenxi. I shouted to Shenxi below, "Catch master." Shenxi on the ground hurriedly took out the magic weapon, and flew over to catch Mo Yang, and then looked up at me worriedly. "Little junior sister, come back quickly. That stinky demon is coming soon." I shook my head. The Demon King is not an opponent of this demon head. After all, the Demon King can't even beat Mo Yang. The devil looked at me with interest. "Are you planning to deal with me alone?" I frowned and said nothing, silently reciting the spell in my heart, and in an instant, the small fork transformed into the original shape of the Poseidon trident, and the invisible coercion swung around. The demon felt oppressed and looked at me in disbelief. "You? How can it be? You shouldn't have this thing." I waved my trident and stabbed at him. "What's impossible? You can do it, why can't I?" The devil broke out in a cold sweat, and pulled his neck and shouted, "Of course it's different. I know everything is coming. Seize the opportunity to seize all the treasures. How can you still get the artifact?" I held up the Poseidon trident and asked him, "Do you know what this is?" "I don't know." "Here, let it die." "Of course you don't know things from the fairy tale world." I waved the Poseidon trident given by my old father, and beheaded the devil under the halberd. He still looked incredulous, until the moment he closed his eyes. Impossible. When pigs fly. Obviously I should be the protagonist. As soon as the demon head died, the demon soldiers were defeated. The leader led the disciples to clean up the battlefield, and I hurried to see Mo Yang. "Little junior sister, master, his aura is already very weak." I got out of the wheelchair, knelt on the ground with my tail propped up, picked up Mo Yang's sword and slashed it on my wrist. Shenxi was startled, but quickly came back to his senses, helped Mo Yang up and asked me to feed him blood, but no response. I didn't believe in evil, so I took out the dagger from last time and poked it in my heart, skillfully catching blood with a bowl. "Little junior sister." I turned pale and fed the blood in the bowl to Mo Yang, and my eyes couldn't stop moistening. I sniffed. This mermaid's body loves to cry. Obviously I don't want to cry. Boom, the round pearls kept falling to the ground and soon spread all over the floor. Mo Yang frowned, slowly opened his eyes, and saw the pearl I was crying all over the ground, a little at a loss, and said weakly, "Don't cry, I'm fine." I didn't cry. It just can't be controlled. The Demon King was late, and was kicked aside by Shenxi's ear, and a scolding sound could be faintly heard. Mo Yang raised his hand to gently wipe the tears from the corners of my eyes, and used spiritual power to heal the wounds on my hands and chest, his eyes full of distress. I grabbed Mo Yang's hand and shook it. "It doesn't hurt." Mo Yang didn't say anything, just squeezed my hand. 16 Although the demon head was dead, the leader still led the elders to strictly investigate the disciples in the sect, so as not to get into the demon clan's spies again. My injury will heal in a few days, but Mo Yang said that I have lost my blood and chi, and I need to make up for it. On this day, I was drinking the medicinal meal that Mo Yang personally cooked. Shenxi passed by and took a look, covered his mouth and ran away quickly, seeing that he had already run down the mountain in that direction. Even though I was far away, I could still hear her voice. "Does my junior sister know that there are acacia flowers in the soup?" So she drank so happily. Sure enough, this mountain can't accommodate me anymore. Ftahem, the soup in my mouth spurted out directly. Mo Yang heard the movement, strode out of the small kitchen, and asked nervously, "What's wrong? Is it too hot?" I looked at Mo Yang and felt a little strange in my body. especially the fish tail, which was extremely hot. Mo Yang's heart jumped when he heard this, and his eyes looked away uncomfortably, just in time to see a few petals floating in the medicine bowl, and his face turned black. This thing. Who put it? The Demon King, who was waiting at the foot of the mountain, was shaking a folding fan, and there was an inscrutable smile floating in his eyes. She ran down the mountain road without stopping, as if something was chasing her behind. Why is Xiao 11er running so fast? Are you in a hurry to see me? Get out of here. Shi stretched out his hand and snatched the folding fan of the Demon King, kept fanning his face, thinking of the scene on the top of the mountain, and quickly shook his head. It seems that she can't go back tonight. So let's just make do with the night outside. 17 The next day. I slept in a daze until the sun was 3 poles high, and when I woke up, my whole body hurt, especially my legs. I looked down and saw that the fishtail was gone, replaced by slender legs. What's going on? Mo Yang walked in with lunch, dressed in white and handsome, looking no different from usual. I grabbed the quilt to cover my legs. Mo Yang looked as usual, and even found me a dress to wear, not shying away at all. Me, how do you feel that this person's skin has become thicker? Xing, eat quickly. After eating, go visit the head and discuss the Taoist couple contract ceremony. The chopsticks I was holding almost throughout. Taoist companion. The great ceremony. Yes. Mo Yang filled the bowl with vegetables and handed it to me, with a soft smile in his eyes. Don't be stunned, eat quickly. I took the bowl blankly and lowered my head to eat. After eating, he was pulled to visit the leader. When the leader heard Mo Yang's intentions, he smiled so hard that his white hair and white beard trembled, as if he had lived the new year early. Don't worry, Immortal Venerable. Leave this matter to me. You and the Blue Fairy will go out to play in the mountains and water for a few days, and when you come back, you can participate in the ceremony. The head of the door was happy in his heart. Woo. Immortal Venerable, a bachelor, who has been lonely for thousands of years, has finally enlightened. The founding ancestors appeared. I kept a polite smile and quietly tilted my head to glance at the person beside me, not at all telling that this was an old man, who had passed thousands of years. On the way back to Mochi Peak, I always felt as if I had forgotten something very important, but I couldn't remember it. What are you thinking? Mo Yang looked at me sideways, his eyes very soft. I shook my head. I can't remember. Mo Yang took my hand, pondered for a moment, and said, should we invite your parents and family to our Taoist ceremony? I thought for a moment, and it seemed that it should be so. To put it bluntly, the Taoist couple ceremony is marriage, and both parents will definitely get it. I pulled Mo Yang back to the bottom of the sea, and picked up a lost old father on the way. Mistress. The old father excitedly pulled my arm. I just said I didn't go the wrong way. Yes. My marriage spread to the bottom of the sea, and the family rarely gathered, and in the magnificent hall, a room full of beautiful mermaids gracefully wagged their tails. The old father and mother were the most excited, almost in tears. Several brothers looked around Mo Yang with bad eyes. A few sisters pulled me into a corner and sneaked a pamphlet to me. I opened it curiously, and it was 2 people with white flowers overlapping. I quickly closed the booklet with my backhand. A group of mermaid sisters covered their mouths and winked at me. Me, at the end of the trip to the bottom of the sea. The whole family said that they would be there on time to attend my contract ceremony. 18 On the day of the ceremony, the Lansang sect was lively. The fairies and Dao Jun who can rank in the immortal cultivation world are all here. Suddenly, the sky was dark, and when everyone looked up, they saw a giant cloud floating over the sky. The giant cloud flew smoothly to the sky above the Lansang sect, then slowly descended, and then I saw my mermaid family. The old father and mother wore a crown on their heads, and gems and pearls fell from the fish's tail, noble and elegant. Several brothers and sisters are also dressed in jewels, and the fishtail shines in the sun, becoming a beautiful landscape. The people in the immortal cultivation world on the earth were directly stunned, and then they started talking about it. They originally thought that Mo Yang Immortal Venerable's Taoist companion was just a little-known fairy. How could they expect their mother's family to be so rich? The old father and mother came down hand in hand, and white clouds floated under the fish's tail, allowing them to move freely on land. The leader greeted them with a smile and started the topic between them. I looked at this scene, and my heart was hot. Halfway through the contract ceremony, suddenly a loud dragon roar sounded in the sky, and after a while, a golden dragon flew over the Lansang sect, and the dragon arrogantly took off around the peak a few times, swooped down towards the ground, and transformed into a beautiful girl. When it landed, I looked at the Little Mermaid's sister, who suddenly appeared, and a flash of inspiration flashed in my mind, and I remembered the thing that I didn't know where I had forgotten. I haven't gone to find my sister yet, but at this moment, that's not the point. The point is, my Little Mermaid sister really turned into a dragon. Sister. The Little Mermaid sister ran towards me happily, shaking a circle of golden things on her fingers. Hurry up, hurry up. I brought the dragon gate, you go jump with me. Get married after dancing. Hearing the word marriage, Shinxi's eyes lit up on the side. I held Shinxi down, looked at my sister, and stopped my eyes on the aperture on her finger. Is this Longmen? Yes. The Little Mermaid sister reached out and grabbed me. Don't worry. I tried. So many fish in our family jump one by one. I deliberately pried the gantry and brought it here. The old father and mother gathered around excitedly, looking at the lost little daughter, tears flowing from the old eyes. The Little Mermaid sister just wanted to show off her dragon body again, when suddenly a group of people flew from the sky. This group of people is of different shapes and colors, but without exception they are all men, or all handsome guys, cold, warm, paralyzed, and seductive. Which is very pleasing to the eye. The handsome men gathered around the Little Mermaid sister, and started talking in a chirping manner. The Little Mermaid sister was surrounded in the middle, one by one, with ease. Shinxi looked over curiously, and I heard her voice almost at the same time. Isn't this sister taking the script of Long Outyen? Me, the world is really crazy. After a while, the ceremony continued. At the moment of the ceremony, Mo Yang took my hand and hugged me into his arms, and ran away with me directly in front of everyone. There is a peach forest on the back mountain of Mochi Peak, and peach blossoms are flying all over the sky under the moonlight, like a fairyland. Mo Yang cast a spell, and we sat hand in hand on the top of the largest peach tree to enjoy the moon. The moonlight is beautiful, and the peach blossom rain is also beautiful, but I feel that the people around me are more beautiful.